Hi fellow YouTubers, this is Amber and welcome to my channel. If you guys do not know who I am a plus size model, YouTuber, and entrepreneur, and my channel is all about beauty, lifestyle, and fashion. Today's video is going to be on the 15 mistakes I made starting YouTube. If you guys want to hear what I have to say, stay tuned. First mistakes that I made on YouTube was not researching. I didn't know how to monetize my videos. I didn't know anything about the business of YouTube and how it worked. I didn't know that you needed at least 1,000 subscribers to monetize. I didn't even know that in order to quit your day job and to not have a job at all and just do YouTube solely, like you literally have to have 1 million views per month in order for you to quit your day job. I had no clue about that. That's a lot of views. So it kind of gives you perspective when you actually do your research and actually understand, okay, like this is what I need to do to get here. And for me, I felt like I wasn't living in reality because my thoughts is you get a few thousand on a video, you start getting paid, you can quit your job, you can make money off of YouTube, but that's far from the truth. So it's best to do your research so that you can make realistic goals. So that was one of my biggest mistakes, not knowing reality-wise how to get to where I needed to get to and how to make accurate goals. I just really didn't know what I was aiming for because I never researched what I needed to know and how to make money monetizing my videos. The second biggest mistake I made was not investing in lighting. I mean, my lighting was just daylight lighting and I had one ring light, but it wasn't enough. One ring light is not enough. So you have to really invest in soft boxes. And that's what I have, 2 soft boxes now, so that I can record any time of the day and still produce quality videos. You want your videos to have a lot of quality, so lighting is one of the ways to have great quality. Being able to do stuff throughout the day without people realizing what time of the day it is. And as you guys can see with some of my older videos, or a couple of videos back actually, that the lighting is going in and out, and that's only because I had to record during daylight time, and sometimes the light can change as you record throughout the hours or the minutes or whatever the case may be. You'll see like the sun moving. So it's very important for you to get lighting, and lighting is really not that expensive. I got 2 lighting soft lights for about $45, so it's best just to invest in that early on. The third biggest mistake that I made was putting out content just to put out content. I didn't have a direction. I didn't know what I really wanted to put out. I just felt like I needed to make content, so some of the content had no basis to it. It had no purpose, no basis. Nobody was watching it, and now I see why nobody was watching it. You don't want that to be connected to your name, being like, this is what I represent. So really think about what kind of content that you're putting out there and what you want to represent, and also do your research on the videos, the type of videos that you're trying to produce, to see if a large audience is watching that, because you want the bigger audiences. So you want to make sure it's kind of like a popular kind of content in a way, but yet still something that you want to do. So you want to double check that before producing any videos, instead of just putting out content just to put out content. The third mistake I made here on YouTube was not learning how to do things myself. Like, I would see other YouTubers with banners and intros and outros, and at the time I wasn't making a lot of money to like have somebody or pay somebody to do my intros, outros, and do all these little effects and stuff. I had to learn those things on my own, and it took me a long time to really realize, like, look, you're gonna have to put a little money aside and invest in some type of editing system, software. The very first software I got was Pinnacle Studios, and then I got another editing system to do pictures and to like do banners and stuff, and that was $30, and it was called Print Artist. So those things, I had to learn those things. It was hard learning them things, and when I did my intro and outro for the very first time, it took me days to do that, and I worked on it for hours and hours and hours. And if I would have known that early on, it's really great just to know how to do your own stuff, your own ish, you know what I'm saying? So it's really great to know that if you want to change your intro, you don't have to find somebody and tell them what you want. You can actually make it yourself, even though it's really nice to pay somebody later on when you have the money. But I did a lot of my intros myself from back in the day, and I just worked on them until I really got exactly what I was looking for. I looked up stuff on YouTube. I learned the systems, the Pinnacle Studios, and Print Artists all through YouTube, and just looking up stuff, and I just learned it myself. So learning how to do things yourself is very important. And 2 years into me having Pinnacle Studios and Print Artists, I know those systems so well that when other systems came out, like my Sony Vegas and the other systems, I knew how to work them, like, because I took the time back then to really get to know those systems and learn how to do them. That so when another system came out that was similar, it was so easy for me to maneuver. So it's better that you learn that and not wait like I did, because I waited at least 2 years before I started trying to learn how to do things on my own. So the 6th biggest mistake I made was not taking my time editing. I would get tired like throughout the day and be editing for hours. Like I would go to school, go to work, come back and be tired editing. And then like that night I'm like, I just want to upload it right now. I'm not gonna keep looking at this video over and over and over for hours and hours. And I literally would put up the video, and I'm like looking at the video the next day like I could have waited and I could have took my time. So always have enough time to edit. Like you don't have to rush things. If you have a certain day that you upload, make sure you have 2 editing days, because sometimes editing can get very strenuous on your eyes, on your body, just editing the whole time, and it can take a lot of hours, because sometimes it takes me 4 hours to edit, and I might do 2 hours on one day and 2 hours on the next day. But back in the day, I didn't really realize how I should edit, and I would get so tired and so like burned out that that's what I would upload at the end of the night, because I had been working for hours and hours, and then I would just be like, okay, this is it. I don't have nothing else to give. But the next morning you'll realize you do have more to give if you just sleep on it and wake up the next day and you're fresh again. So you can see exactly what mistakes you made or didn't correct or didn't like or didn't upload, because you never want to upload something that you feel is unfinished and you haven't really looked at it thoroughly, and just rushing and not taking your time doing edits or just uploading videos. So that was one of the mistakes that I made. I felt like looking at some of my videos looking back, I was like, dang, like why did I upload that, because this is wrong and this is wrong. I would look back at the videos after it's uploaded, cringe, like, you know, like I should have took this out and this is showing. And you want to make sure that you have enough time for everything that you need to do, and you want to look through your video before you upload it. I don't care if it's 30 minutes. Look at it one last time to make sure you're catching any problems or anything in the video that you need to take out or that you didn't correct. Want to make sure you have quality content out there, and that's one way to make sure is just to take your time editing and looking at your video. I promise you it will work. I promise you if you just sleep on it and wake up the next day, you will understand exactly what I'm saying. I've done this for a couple years now. It really helps. So the 7th mistake is not having quality content. You want to have the best quality content. You might not have the best camera, but you can have some great lighting, like I have these 2 lightings that I keep telling you guys about that I just got last week. Maybe getting a background, creating a space for YouTube, and just having a quality space. I can't stress that enough. Before I didn't have this YouTube room, I was just like filming every which way. It wasn't consistent. The lighting wasn't good, and I'm trying to find lighting. I didn't really have backgrounds. Backgrounds can come from Amazon. Lighting can come from Amazon. You just want to have a quality space to produce quality work and make sure everything is clear. Even if you're doing it on an iPhone, it matters what's in the video and how it's looking. Is it clear? Is it enough lighting? lighting? Is the background good? Is it the background have a lot of mess in there? Like, you guys know the YouTube backgrounds where they have like the white shells behind them. You can do something like that, or you can do a background like this from Amazon. You definitely want to have a quality workspace when you're producing creative videos. It's very necessary in order to that energy going, so to speak, because once you have a space, even if it's a small corner, or if you got to go to a certain place every day just to record, then do that. Just have a quality workspace. Make sure everything is clear and visible, and the lighting is great. Quality content also means redoing over your videos. Like, there's been so many times where I literally would have to redo my videos. I swear, like my last video that I did, I was trying to upload, I looked at it, I realized like this doesn't really look good on this wall, the pink wall that's behind it, and I was like, it doesn't really look good. So I literally did that video honestly 4 times, and I'm gonna have to redo it again because I have better lighting and I want to redo it with the better lighting. So I literally will have to do that video for a 5th time, and that was in 3 days. So sometimes you have to do your content over to make sure it's quality content. You want to make sure, and if you get to the editing phases or the stages and you see things that you know you could do better, won't you try it again and make sure that it's quality. This is what my motto I go by now. If I don't love it, then I don't want it. So if I look at my video and I don't absolutely love my content, or I don't feel good about it, I don't want to put it out, and I'm not going to put it out. Either I scrap it or redo it. And if I don't want to redo it, then I scrap it, and I'm like, okay, then it's better just to let that one go. So if I don't love it, I don't want it. I do that throughout my whole life now. I'm my own brand. You're your own brand when you're a YouTuber. So if you put out crap, that's connected to you. That's who you are. That's what your business represents. So think of this as a business. This is your business. So if you want to put your best foot forward out there, then you have to put out quality content. So the 8th biggest mistake I made was not creating a catchy title. I had very vague titles, like for instance, outfit of the day, OOTD. And it's like, outfit of the day of what? Like, is it Valentine's Day? Is it your birthday? Is it... And so when people have those vague titles, oftentimes people don't want to click on it because they don't even know what you're talking about. And it was just so vague that I'm pretty sure people were swiping right past, because it wasn't enough description, it wasn't enough detail in the title. So now look at the way other YouTubers title things. Create your own descriptive title. Like for instance, how to do baby hair or something like that. If you know a large base of YouTube videos saying how I did my baby hair, well then take that title and say how I did my baby hair using whatever. Like, you want to make catchy titles. So if you need a catchy title, look up the most popular videos based off of what you're posting and grab some of those titles, or to get inspired to title your own videos. So I would highly recommend that. So moving into mistake number 9 is thumbnails. I was terrible. I mean, this was one of my biggest mistakes, because I was terrible at making thumbnails. I literally would take the picture that YouTube would give you the options of. You guys know the little 3 pictures that you can pick from when they take from your video. I literally would use one of those videos. I wouldn't even write on the thumbnail, and it would be an ugly picture that YouTube would have snatched off the video, and I would use the best one out of the 3. It was just not getting any clicks on there. It wasn't getting any views, and now they have a click per, I don't know what it's called, but I'll try to link it below. But anytime somebody clicks on your actual thumbnail or your picture or your video, you can actually make money off of that as well. So you want to make it as bomb as possible. You want people to gravitate towards whatever picture you're putting up. So using those pictures on YouTube that they grab from your video, don't use those. Literally make your own thumbnails, and trust me, I was very terrible at making thumbnails when I first started, but I started using this app called, what is it called? Superimpose. I started using that app and started trying to do it myself. Before, when I didn't have really good thumbnails, I didn't know how to make thumbnails, so I instantly went to Fiverr to find somebody who can do my thumbnails. And I found somebody who could do 5 thumbnails for $10. I would go to him. I went to him a couple times, but after a while, it's like the money starts adding up for you doing thumbnails. So you don't want to waste your money just doing thumbnails, which he did a great job, but I needed to learn on my own. So what I use right now is Impose, the app Impose, and I also use the app InShot. So those are the 2 apps that I use for my thumbnails. And yes, the thumbnails really make a difference. I literally, when that guy made my thumbnail on Fiverr and I posted it, that day I got 972 views on an old video that I posted probably a month ago. So that shows you how much changing a thumbnail could matter. So you definitely want to make sure that you change all your thumbnails out. Even if you don't have quality videos, change your thumbnails out so that you could get the clicks per capita. I think it's called per capita, something like that. But you want to make sure you get those clicks, because that gives you money as well. Anytime somebody clicks on your video, whether they don't want to finish watching your video or not, you will get some type of money for that if you have 1,000 followers and up, and if you're monetized, then you will get money for that. The 10th mistake that I made was hashtags. I did not know how to hashtag my videos whatsoever. Like, I knew hashtags because of Instagram, but I literally wasn't even putting the hashtag marks under the videos. I was just like typing and then pressing enter and typing and pressing enter, not even really using the hashtags. I don't even really know if you actually need the hashtags for YouTube. I haven't researched it. Maybe that's something I should absolutely know, but I do put the hashtags in there anyway. But what I use is Rapid, and you type the title in and it kind of gives you some hashtags that you can copy and paste and put into your own videos. Now, some of them is not always going to be accurate, so you might want to delete the ones that are not accurate to your videos, and it's free as well, so it kind of gives you a base of what is being looked at on YouTube and what's the most popular tags to use. So they're giving you all the popular tags to tag on your video, and I just take those tags, I might add a couple more, and then I put those on my videos and it's all done. So instead of just making up hashtags and thinking that you know what you're talking about and you're just making up hashtags to go along, not everybody is going to have the same thinking as you. You want to make sure that the majority of people are looking at this popular hashtag, so you want to hashtag that popular hashtag instead of something you didn't made up. So that was a big learning lesson for me, because I was one of those. I was making up hashtags a lot. So the 11th mistake that I made was not looking at my statistics, or my analytics as they call it. I would hardly ever look at the stats on the side. I would basically ignore them because I wasn't a big YouTuber, and I'm still fairly small still, but I wasn't big enough to feel like I needed to look at the analytics or the stats or whatever the case may be. And I literally was just ignoring my audience, because that's what happens when you don't look at your analytics or you don't look at what your audience is looking at. You don't know what kind of videos to keep producing. So what I was doing is producing a lot of videos that I wanted to do, which was makeup tutorials. But my audience is telling me they like makeup reviews according to what they're looking at. So I literally kept ignoring those stats because, first of all, I didn't know it was really there. I knew it was there, but I just never looked into it. And then when I started looking into the stats, I was like, oh my gosh, they really like the reviews instead. So then that's when it's up to you to start producing what your audience is looking at. If you fail to do that, then that's your bad. But when you know exactly what your audience would rather see you do, you want to produce more videos that they want to see so they can watch you more and you can have more watch hours. That's the whole point. I literally kind of had to fall back on doing makeup tutorials. I wanted to start doing what they wanted to see more, and my views started going up and up and up. One video I got 24K, the next video I got 23K, and so on and so forth. And it was a lot of reviews that I did on my channel. So I started doing those more. So listen to your audience, look at your analytics, and make sure that you're always watching that, because you'll know when the watch time goes down. You'll know if people are not liking the video or the type of content that you're doing. You always want to look at the analytics, because you definitely want to see the age. the age and the demographics, because that really helps with content as well. So if you have a lot of young teenagers looking at you, you don't want to put a Savage X Fenty review together because you want to do it because you're not looking at your analytics. You definitely have to know your age group that is watching you. And for years I was dropping the ball because I didn't know what my audience wanted, and I was just producing whatever I felt like producing. So always think, what does your audience want to see? Who is your audience? Where are they coming from? And what can they relate to? There could be a specific age range that you would like to target. So do what's in that popular section of that age range. So if you guys are enjoying my content so far, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. My 12th mistake is a huge disappointment. And it's a life lesson too as well. I was putting up a lot of copyrighted music. I know a lot of people talk about this in their videos, but it's true. Like, I started putting copyrighted music in there just to have a lit intro or a lit playlist while I'm doing makeup. And yeah, it kind of caught up to me just last year actually. I had put a Nipsey Hussle video together, and I kept a lot of his original music in there that was copyrighted, using clips from other interviewers and things like that, chopped it up, put it in a video because I just really wanted to do a tribute to him, because I actually met him a couple times and I felt like the world was painting him to be a gang member instead of what his community seen, what we seen. So I felt like it was my duty to put out who he was, and I put so much heart and effort into that. It took me days to do that video and hours of editing and clipping out stuff and making sure it was cohesive. And I just put my heart and soul in that because I was so hurt by his death. I wasn't thinking that it was going to get any views, because at the most views that I had at the time was like 56 views. So I put the video out for Nipsey Hussle, not thinking it would go viral, and I think I put it out April 19th, 2019, and it got over 100K in less than a year. I was like, what? Like, you know, I hadn't even been checking on my account. That's how much I was absent from that account. I was literally like baffled when I seen that people really enjoyed that video, and they were telling me how much they watched that video, how much they loved the video, and I was so surprised. But guess what? I can't monetize that video because it's copyrighted. One of the biggest money learning lessons ever, even though I don't regret putting that video up, and so many people have reached out to me to let me know how that video has helped them, so I don't regret it. And I needed to put his music in there, and I needed to have those clips. I didn't interview him, so I don't regret it, but it was very expensive learning lesson because every 10,000 views is $100. So that video got over 100K, and just think about that. Yeah. So money down the drain. But the upside of it is it got a lot of traffic to my video. So you don't want to just drive in traffic, you want to keep the traffic as well. So I had a lot of traffic on my channel, a lot of views on my channel because of that video. And even though it helped my channel out so much with other things, that I got monetized shortly after the Nipsey Hussle video because so many people were coming to see that video. The one hack I would say is that upload a video twice, right? So if you have something that you may think is copyrighted, make sure you load it twice. And one of the videos, keep it in the private section. So if you get copyright strikes, you can literally take the copyright strikes off the other video and re-upload that video. And that's the only reason why I didn't take that video down, is because so many people liked that video and favorited that video. So I didn't want to take it down or take the copyright strikes out to make money off of it. I just kept them in there. So there's like about maybe 4 or 5 copyright strikes in there. I was just like, look, I'm gonna release that other video and then make money off of the other video. So that's a way to do it. Upload it twice, and if you see the copyright strikes come in, have the second duplicate video and take those copyright strikes out and re-upload that video, and still have the other one playing so everybody can see the full video as well, if you get what I'm saying. If you don't, I understand, it's a lot. But yeah, so it was a learning lesson. So you don't want to put copyrighted music in your videos at all. So many places to get non-copyrighted music on YouTube. So just look it up, just put non-copyrighted music. You can download it with YT3.com. You can download it with them. or you can download it with a converter, an online converter that can take a YouTube video into an MP3. So you don't want to use copyrighted music. You could get music that sounds similar to it by using Karaoke King to have similar lit music in a way, but it's a karaoke version of the lit music that you like. The 13th mistake I made was not being grateful. I say this because I wasn't grateful at the time, because I only had, like, at the time back in the day, I only had like 50 to 100 subscribers and 200 to like 500 subscribers, right? So I literally wouldn't put out content a lot because at the time I was only getting like 56 views, and I'm like, you know, what's the point? I'll wake up and have an idea for a video, and then I'm like, why even do it? Hardly anybody's watching my videos. Nobody's really like checking for me. I hardly get any comments. And so I was just doing a whole pity party, like skipping loading days where I would load the videos. That is so, let me tell you, that is so unfair and so ungrateful. Because there are people, there are 100 people, if there's 50 people, if there's 20 people following you, those are 50, 20, 30, 100 people that believe in you. And it's such a disservice to them because these people are from the ground up with you. They see you at your lowest point of the process. You don't want to put out content for them because you don't have a big audience. And I remember Beyonce saying something like, when she was younger, she used to perform at these small venues, like she was putting on this huge performance for a big venue. She still keeps that work ethic throughout her career because she was giving her all at every point of her career, no matter if it was a small stage or a big stage. I took something from that because it's unfair for me to like feel like they're not enough. Those followers are not enough when those are the followers that actually believe in me. Because if it wasn't for them, who would be watching me? Nobody. So at least somebody is watching me. And a lot of people say 36 views and 36 subscribers is not a lot. It's not a lot, but it's a classroom. Because if you go to college, it's about a 35 people classroom. And wouldn't you be afraid to speak in front of 35 people? So in time, you will grow and there will be people jumping on the bandwagon, but they will always be those day ones that was there from the beginning. And so you want to stay true to that, and you want to stay true to those type of people, especially the ones that just are there when you only have one video, are there when you have bad content, are there still requesting, still watching, still liking. Those are the ones that you want to continue to put your all into your YouTube for. And those are the best people to do it for, because those are your real supporters. And I have to stress that because, you know, sometimes we get lost in this. And we get lost in all the sparkle and the shine and being a big YouTuber and stuff like that. And a lot of the stuff is materialistic. So we definitely have to stay true to being grateful for people that's supportive of us now, and being grateful of people that are just believing in the dream now. So the 14th mistake that I made was not reaching out to companies. Now, when you're a small YouTuber, nobody knows you. So there's no reason for a company to reach out to you because they don't know who you are. You're not on platforms. Nobody's sharing your content. Nobody's doing any of that. So nobody knows you. So even though you're a small YouTuber, don't mean that you should assume that you cannot reach out to other brands. There's been times where I felt like, oh, I want to reach out to that brand, but you know, I only have this many subscribers. Do not worry about that. The only thing they can say is no and move on. I literally started reaching out to other brands because you have to know your worth. You have to know what you bring to the table and what you can do. So you have to sell yourself like a salesperson to these companies, especially small businesses or businesses that can give you products so you can review and have people look at you. You are the brand. You have to sell your brand. And what you could do, your capabilities, even if you only get 100 views, even if you only get 36 views, it's more than what they had, and it's free advertisement. That's 36 people. Half of those people could go check them out, or one of those people could buy. That's one more sale that they could have versus not having that sale. So you definitely have to look at it in a different light when it comes to reaching out to brands, because when you reach out to brands, Some people might say no. I've got a few no's, but I also got a few yeses. I worked with Smile Brilliant at one point. I also worked with Impress Nails, Rose Gal. I worked with a few people. You can do collaborations with giveaways. That's another way to get people on your channel as well. Something like that, but never underestimate what they may or may not do. Just ask and see. But I would always advise to already have a letter to give to a brand in case. And it gives you all your stats. So what I do is make a letter. My channel does this, this, and this. I get most views on reviews, and that's why I want to do a review for your company. Always customize your letters. So if you already have a letter like in stock or on sample that you've already wrote before, change the names and make sure it's addressed to that company and send it out. And if they say yes, they say yes. If they say no, they say no. You can reach out to so many different places, weight loss companies, even like medical spas. You could do stuff with them as well. So it's, even though it's all about the numbers, you could create more numbers by doing giveaways. That was one of my biggest mistakes, because I felt like because I wasn't pulling in a lot of subscribers at the time, that my content and what I had to offer wasn't good enough for another brand. But always look at smaller brands. Number 15, always do seasonal looks. Like, this is something I dropped the ball so many times on. Like, I know when Christmas is, I know when Thanksgiving is, I know when 4th of July is, but I would drop the ball every time. I would not have nothing planned before going into these seasons. That's the best content. So these are people just scavenging the internet, trying to find things to go to parties and to do makeup looks and fashion stuff. So that's great for the beauty world. When you don't capitalize off of that, then you know it's not good for your channel. So always look at the months and see what national holidays they are, what national days there are. It could be National Donut Day, it could be Mother's Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July. Look those things up, and if you're interested in making content for that particular season or that particular holiday, then start making your content, because you have to do it a month before and already have those videos loaded. But when it's a seasonal thing, it's a seasonal holiday, everybody's on YouTube trying to find a lookbook, new clothes, new deals. So that is the perfect time to start being seen, is around holidays and putting out holiday content. And like I said, if you don't really want to do the content, do the stuff that you like. If you really like Christmas and New Year's Eve, then do that. I feel like I dropped the ball so much on that, because I would literally make a Christmas video like 3 days before Christmas, and it wasn't useful, and people couldn't utilize it because they had already went to all the parties. They already had their outfit looks, and you know, new fashion is coming in. Christmas looks are going out because Christmas is in a couple days. So it's definitely not good to do last minute seasonal looks and holiday looks. You want to be prepared. The 16th mistake I made was not knowing my equipment. Like, I already had equipment. Like I told you, I had Pinnacle Studios and Print Artists. I knew my equipment, but not so intensely and thoroughly that I knew all the stuff that it could do. So when you have a camera and when you have software, instantly know everything about your camera. Make sure you read the instructions. Make sure you look on YouTube to see any hacks that they may have for the camera, for the software, for whatever system that you may have, for the app that you're using. Make sure you know all the ins and outs so you can get the most use out of your equipment and out of your software. I've done this so many times. I've like pushed a camera aside. I used to have a blue Canon camera that I did vlogs with, and I pushed that one out to get another camera. I was wasting money because I didn't know what my equipment can do. I kept wasting money not really knowing, can my equipment do this? Can my equipment do this? I knew basic stuff about it, how to turn it on, how to rewind it, how to put smart photo on and stuff like that. I knew those basic things, but there was so much more to my equipment that it could do that I didn't even know. There was hacks on YouTube. I've kept this camera for about, I think, 3 or 4 years, and I recently bought another camera. I bought this other camera, and the camera wasn't really working as good as this camera, and I came back to this camera even though the other camera that I have is a lot newer. It's another Canon, and it's a flip camera, and I'm like, why didn't I just look into this camera? There's so many hacks on YouTube that can make your equipment 10 times better. So many apps, these software hacks. Mistake number 17 is be consistent. I was not being consistent. That was the biggest mistake as well. was not being consistent at all. I was not having a consistent day to upload. I upload every Thursday at 8 a.m. now because that is my new consistent schedule, so to speak. I literally took so long trying to get a schedule out because I was being lazy. I felt like, oh, I don't feel like doing this. Nobody's watching me. I don't feel like doing this. But you gotta stay consistent because consistency is key. The more videos you get out, the more watch time you get out. And if you need to get up to 4,000 watch hours to be monetized, that's the best way to do it, is putting out content, consistent content. The reason why I don't post 3 days out of a week is because I know for sure one day is going to be a day that I make sure I upload. All the other times that I upload outside of Thursday at 8 a.m. is just when I feel like loading. So I want to make one day for sure because I get so busy. For this quarantine, I was really busy and it was hard for me to do videos. So I knew at least one day out of the week I can upload. So always promise yourself at least one consistent day, but you want to be consistent because that's the only way you can make it on YouTube, is being consistent, So that is it for all of the 17 mistakes I made here on YouTube. Make sure you comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell.